And we are live. Welcome to the Connected for Real podcast. I'm Rebbetzin Bat-Chen Grossman. I'm a marriage coach for women in business. And today with me, I have Nathalie Garson, who is so famous and so cool. So I'm super excited about this one. And I'm so happy to be back from my break for August. So here I am, nice and excited to be showing up and back in my big girl clothes after playing with children for so
Wow,
long. So this is exciting. Okay,
I'm
Natalie,
so excited.
introduce yourself. Yeah, I know. Introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are, why you're so cool, and why they should listen.
Okay, great. Well, I'm Nathalie Garson. First of all, I'm very excited to have that conversation with you because I think we have a lot to talk about and it's going to be fascinating. And who am I? Well, I'm a business mentor for people that are scaling their business. And I'm also the founder of the Global Network for Jewish Women and Entrepreneurs and Leaders. It's a fascinating journey that I've been on for 3 years. And I know we're going to talk about it in the podcast, tell more about that. But basically, it's thousands of women coming from 18 countries all over the world and getting together and doing amazing things. So I love what we do. And in my business also, it's helping entrepreneurs to scale their business with systems and teams when they get to a certain level and they are overwhelmed with everything that's happening in their business. And so, yeah, it's amazing. We're doing great things.
Yeah, I love it. And I also love that the energy, you show up to the Zoom and there's all these people. And then at the end, you're like, oh my gosh, that was perfect. Like exactly what I needed.
Right.
Last time I went, I met someone and we like totally hit it off. It was amazing.
Wow, I love it. I love it. I love it. I mean, listen, put women in a room, whether it's a Zoom or a physical room, and give them time and space to talk, and and in a structured way, but also informal in the breakout rooms. I mean, people think it's about business, and I think it is because you do get referrals and you do get business from it. But I think it's more about talking about connected for real. I think it's more about connections and about really getting to know people. And I think what's so cool why I started it is that people from all over the world. That's why I love it. It's like you get to speak to people that are so far but so close at the same time because they're like-minded, they're Jewish women, and it's like a safe space to be able to be yourself and connect with people from the whole spectrum of religion or observance. And it's just amazing. I mean, I'm happy that you enjoyed it and I enjoy it every time. So we have our next one coming up on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So whoever wants to join, I'm happy to welcome them in the group.
Yeah, this is super exciting. Okay, so today we are talking about Jewish values in business. And I don't know if you know, or the listeners know. So, my obsession is the intersection between marriage and business and how they affect each other. And people think that, yeah, I'm just going to go into business. And like, really, there's like all this baggage that's coming along. And how do you deal with that? And how do we, make peace? So, on one hand, there is all of the marriage and the baggage and the boundaries and finding your own voice and figuring your own thing out and being willing to like make decisions on your own and all these things that we have to go through as married women growing a business. And then on the other hand, there's all the business advice and craze and fads and whatever, and it's like, what do I do first? And finding ease and flow in that, by bringing God in and really aligning them. So my whole focus is, instead of feeling pulled, just bring it all to align to one thing, right? And it's like there's a core, there's an anchor, and it all just sort of fits so beautifully. So that's what I watch women do all the time, and I just love it. And I think that you see it from the business angle. So let me hear about that a little bit.
Well, I love what you're saying. And I often say that being in a business or being an entrepreneur is having a relationship with your business, basically. So, as a marriage coach, as yourself, or as someone who looks at relationships, I think it's really interesting because I always say that having a business is the best personal development school that you can go to, because it really pushes you out of your comfort zone. It makes you do bigger things. It makes you really rethink who you are, your values. And that's what marriage does too. Being in a partnership does that too. And so you have no choice but to confront yourself and to look inside, whether it's in a marriage or whether it's with your business. And I think that it's really a challenge that we're lucky to have. I mean, lucky, it's difficult sometimes, right? Because you hit a wall and you're like, that's it, I can't do it. I'm sure just like in the marriage, you hit a wall, like, that's it, I can't do it. But it forces you to go beyond and to look inside and to look for alignment. And when it's not working, I mean, something is not working inside. So that's why when people come to me as clients and, they have something is not working with their business, I'm like, you're having a relationship problem with your business. There's something not working between you and your business, because your business is a separate entity. And so how are you dealing with it? Are you facing it? Are you really looking at it? Are you communicating it? Are you working on your mindset? Because your business is telling you something. And so it's interesting I love that you're putting the two together, and I love alignment. I think alignment is true for everything. Alignment as a Jewish woman, as a business owner, as a wife, as a mother. I think everything has to come together. You're right. We can't be pulled. We have to bring everything in the center. And I think that business is forcing us to do that, forcing us in a good way. So yeah, that's what I see. With my clients, I work a lot with women. I would say 97% of my clients are women. And some of them have relationships where their couple or their marriage is helping them in the business. And some of them, it's something they have to work on because their husband is not on board. I'm sure you see that a lot in your practice. And I think that it's another way for women to be fulfilled and to say, wait, this is my business. This is what I want to do. This is my priority. And there are always different, ways or journeys to go about with that. But I think it's really interesting how our business is forcing us to grow into the person that we want to be.
Yes. And I found from my experience that opening up a business or starting to lean into your purpose is the best way to fix your marriage. Because a lot of the time, your marriage is squishing you because you are not allowing yourself to lean in, because you think you have to pay a price and you have all this beliefs that, oh, you just need to give in. You just have to make him happy. You just have to do the things you just, and like, that's not going to last for a long time. It ends up really like rubbing you the wrong way. Eventually, we've just been like, all the way down to the floor. And so when you start doing the thing you love and you start leaning into the things that make you come alive, your husband turns around and says, oh, there you are again. Like, that's the person I fell in love with, right? The one who was excited about things and the one that had passion, the one that had, that need for fulfillment, not the woman who was giving in and just like, canceling herself. That wasn't the women I married. So they end up being happy. You end up being happy, and everything starts to flow differently because now you actually have a whole in a whole who can create a unit, as opposed to like, thinking, oh, I just need to, just let him be the one. Like, it doesn't work that way. Right. So this is gigantic.
Yeah, definitely. No, like, and I will say, I will add to that, really adding to what you're saying, that very often it's not the husband or the partner that is not ready to let the woman, or is imposing something, or is expecting something. Very often it's the woman that, is bringing that pressure on herself, that I need to be there for my children. I need to be there for my husband, which is true, of course. But I think in terms of priorities, as you're saying, really, really truthfully so, it's not going to work if you put everyone first and you put yourself last. And the business is also, again, giving you an opportunity to bring yourself in the front. But I find that once the woman does that work with herself and says, no, this is important for me, I need this time, I need this priority, then the husband comes on board. I don't believe that it's because of the husband. I mean, maybe sometimes it is. I mean, I don't know about everyone's story, but I think that usually it starts with the woman having self-confidence, having more self-worth. And I think that's what you do in your work also, to help people, women with their mindset and like really believing in themselves, so that they can say, this is important for me. I need to be in this business. This is my purpose. This is where I'm fulfilled. And that's where it starts, I think.
Yeah. And also, you said we put everyone else first. We think we put everyone else first. Like you think you're doing your kids a service by canceling yourself.
Right.
You think you're doing your husband a service, but really you're disappearing from their lives. You're not actually showing them and modeling for them what it is to be a Jewish woman, right? What it is to be coming alive, be yourself, do the thing, right? So I have 5 girls and 2 boys, but 5 girls, and that, that's a huge responsibility right there, right? And I see my teenagers, and most of them are at the top. Like I have 4 first girls, so they're all teenagers. It's very fun. We have a very exciting household. I see them growing up and being able to stand up for themselves and babysitting when making different, choices when amongst their friends, because they see what I do, right? They make fun of me, like, they put on my scarf and they look at the mirror and they're like, and we're live, welcome, and they're so cute, and they model, and they play, but they're absorbing everything. And
Yes.
the fact that I am showing up and pushing myself and being present here and there, and finding ways to make life easy and not making it hard all the time and not trying to, complicate things and just always looking to simplify, they're learning the skills they need in order to do it on their own. So
Yep.
if I was not doing this, would I be holding them back or serving them? Right?
Yeah.
These are the questions. We think we're doing them a service, and really in reality, it's the worst thing. Like, when people stay married just for the kids' sake, and I'm saying, like, no, it's the worst thing you could do for your kids. Is the
Yeah.
worst thing, because your kids know, they feel, they understand, they are not dumb, like they are children. Children are geniuses. So even if you pretend, that pretending isn't working.
Yeah,
And
the only
either
thing you can do, I think, for it's that you can just set an example. That's the only thing you can do. I mean, all the education books and everything you're going to say, or all the lessons, life lessons, it never works if you're not an example. And I know that my biggest fan, and I'm so proud to say that my biggest fan is my 29-year-old daughter. And I know that deep down, and I know that deep down, a lot of what I'm doing is for her. I mean, of course, it's the business and it's my life and it's my professional career, and of course, but there are so much that I'm doing that, I want to set an example and I want to be fully myself. And I mean, she has taken the whole thing. Like, she is an amazing young woman who is so powerful, so fulfilled. And when I look at her, I'm like, okay, that's good. I mean, I have a son who is 30 years old. I think it's a different kind of example, different kind of relationship. And of course, he's also looking at me like, oh, okay, he listens to my podcast. He's like, like giving me feedback on when I write an article, I send it to him first because he loves to write. And he's like, yeah, you should do this like that. So he has like this more like I'm giving you advice thing, which I love. And I think it's also important for him, with the women that he's going to meet or build a home together, to have that. So I agree so much with you that the only thing we can do is set an example. That's really, and so for that, we have to be truly ourselves and truly aligned. We can't fake it. You can't fake that.
I love that. You can't fake it.
No, you can't fake it. You have to be true to yourself. And I think being an entrepreneur, and especially a purpose-driven entrepreneur, is forcing you to be true to yourself, because it's not only, I'm a business consultant, coach, mentor, like I have an MBA and I have this whole background in business, and I know how to be very strategic and very business-like put away all the emotions and be like, okay, this is what you got to do. Financial projections, I can be that way. But I also know that if it doesn't start with alignment, the whole business thing, you can just put it away. It's not going to work. And you see people, and I know for me, it was really a big breakthrough for me, because I was all in business, all like, okay, if the numbers say it, if the strategy says it, if my Excel is right, then I'm doing the right thing. But then I discovered alignment, and I discovered what I call the born to do and the purpose. That's why I call my business the born to do business. And I said, wow, it all starts from there. If you're not aligned, you could have the best strategy, the biggest budget, for marketing, and you can have all the resources and the assets, and it's not going to land. People are going to feel it's not aligned. And then all of a sudden, when it is aligned, magic, Things happen. People come. They're attracted. They want to work with you. You don't even know where they come from. So that's a big secret that, once people get that, they have to work on both. I mean, you have to work on alignment and on the business side. That's there's no way out.
Yes, I love it. And here we have a very good comment. This is my brother. So we're talking about modeling here. It says, be the change you want to see in the world. So yes, thank you. And then he adds, clarity and direction is crucial. Yes, totally.
I love that. I love that we have live comments. Yeah.
Yes, live comments are always so much fun.
I
So thank
know.
you. Thank you for being here. Okay, so let's talk about how men and women are different in business because we both of us focus on women, and I feel, and I know that we agree on this, that you cannot run a business like a man when you're a woman. It just doesn't work, right? Like all the tools and all the advice and all the things that you're being fed are great for the male energy and just get it done, do it, push through, willpower. And the women, like we need to feel it, we need to get it to to be right, to align, like you were saying. So let's talk about a little bit of that.
Right. So I love what you're saying, and I think that working with women is a blessing because it really shows so much of what is possible and where we can really take them, or they can take themselves. But I would make a little difference between, like, I speak a lot about the feminine way of doing business. And I believe that men can also do business the feminine way. And I believe that women also have to do business the masculine way. Let me explain what I mean by that. I mean that the feminine and the masculine are not sole property of women and men. It's not like, okay, I'm a woman, so I'm doing feminine, and I'm a man, I'm doing masculine. That's the old way of thinking. The new way of thinking is that we both have feminine and masculine. And in order to have a business and run it, we need to bring forward that masculine side. We need to get things done. We need to have, like you said, the willpower. We need to, have powerful, make decisions. Like we need all that because you cannot run a business without that. However, if we put on the side the feminine way of doing business, which is leaning in, collaborations, listening to ourselves, being, ready to receive, not only to hustle, being in the flow, knowing how to be in a relationship with your business, but also with the people around you, getting the best out of your clients, like being this force, like this very strong, but not necessarily aggressive force, being patient. All these are feminine attributes that we need in our business. Now, I believe that women, not the feminine, right? Women have a responsibility to bring more of that feminine into the world, and to allow men to be also in that feminine dimension, because they also want to be there. They also want to be in the flow. They also want to be in alignment. They also want to feel everything that we know how to feel. So maybe it is true that women it's easier for them to be in the feminine, and men it's easier for them, but it doesn't mean that we cannot interchange. I know that for myself, I was for many years in my masculine dimension. I was so, like I said before, business oriented. We get things done, and lists and tasks and implementation and structure and strategy. And this is my zone of comfort. This is where I feel like, okay, I'm getting things done. And I had to learn how to be in my feminine. I had to learn how to let go, had to be in my flow, how to trust, how to believe, how to, receive, how to look at the world from an abundant perspective. All this was not my natural. And so when I discovered that, I was like, okay, this is it. It's the balance and alignment between the two energies and the two dimensions that make us really complete, and allows us to be successful in our business, but have successful lives. I think that's the most important.
Yeah. You were saying what comes comfort to you, the comfort level. And I'm realizing that for me, for many, many years, like my natural is the feminine. Like I am intuitive. I get like, I receive all the time. I'm like an open channel, right? Like this is my superpower. And that's why like Connected for Real was born, because when I asked my friends, what's my superpower? They said, you're so connected, but you're so practical, right? So there's like, that's totally me. I'm very much like into that flow and the abundance, you know, that connection. And for many years, I felt like it wasn't the right way to do business. Like I was feeling guilty that I'm doing things wrong. Like, why am I broken? Why can't I just do it right? Why can't I get myself to sit down and push through and just be consistent and not have to, you know, rely on God for all of my miracles, right? Because I'm constantly receiving miracles right and left, but it's like the wrong way to do business. You're not supposed to do it that way. So for a long time, I was fighting it because I just didn't feel like that was the right thing. You know, everybody makes you feel like there's just one way of doing business and then you don't fit. There's something wrong with you, obviously. Right. So one of my core pillars in my program is finding the unique to you things, you know, the unique to you way of doing the business, the unique to you way of speaking and you know, listening and doing. Like all of this is, you have to stop thinking you're broken and start leaning into the superpowers that you were given. And I only had my breakthrough once I leaned into that. I was like, you know, I'm not doing things like everyone else. I'm just doing my thing. And I just keep getting confirmation that I'm on the right track because it's working, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing. So
It's
sometimes it's not about changing what you're doing, but more like coming to peace with it, letting go of the guilt and just, you know, keep going.
And there is something that you're going to take for granted what comes easy for you. And so for you, it was the flow and the intuition. And it was like, oh, that's easy. So that's probably not what I should do, right? I should be doing something difficult in order to succeed, right? So if this comes easy, then I need to do something else, right? And the other way is true. Like for me, being structured and having strategy is easy. And so, oh, well, that must be not something that I need to be working harder. Like it cannot be that easy, right? That's the belief. And what you're saying is so true. Yes, it can be that easy. You can lean in who you are and do things the way you do it because it's never going to work another way anyway. So you may as well make peace with that. However, I would say look at the outside of the comfort zone and go out and say, okay, this comes natural. Great. I'm lucky. I have it. Like I know people say to me, like, I can open a spreadsheet and do a business plan in 2 seconds. Great. You're lucky. You have that. You have that intuition, that flow. Great. You're lucky. You have that. How do you build on that? How do you bring the next thing? Because yes, we want to come out of our comfort zone and we want to do more. So, but not to say this is garbage. Let me start over. No. I'm taking this as my asset, as my gift. And I'm building on that so that I can really have the right balance. And I think that's the secret. But you're right. It all starts with accepting yourself the way you are. Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. This is such a fun conversation.
Yes, it is.
Summit. Let's talk about the summit because I really want people to sign up and I want them to have all the details because, sometimes if I don't hear all the details in my ear in the podcast, then I'm like, yeah, I'm going to read it later and then I never get to it. So, just announcing you guys, I'm part of this amazing summit and Nathalie is going to tell you all about it. And it's all about Jewish values in business. So let's do it.
Yeah. So I'll start with, before we get the logistics and the technical details, I want to give a little background of how the summit came to life. So I was talking about the global network of Jewish women and entrepreneurs and leaders before, and we've been 3 years going every month on Zoom to network, to get to know each other, to create friendships. And as you saw, it really became an amazing network. And the idea of a conference, I'm starting from the end and then we'll come back to the summit. The idea of a conference to meet in person, to have a global conference where people actually take the plane and come to Israel, Jerusalem, to meet in person and finally get to hug each other and to really get through the experience of being in the same room. This was something that I had a dream about many years, and it's finally happening in January 2024. And this whole conference is based on Jewish values and Jewish leadership. That's the conference. People think it's a business conference. It will be a business conference because it's for women entrepreneurs. But the topic and the theme is about Jewish leadership. How do you align with your Jewish values? How do you bring your values into your business and into your life? And it's a whole discussion around how we really, the leaders, the global leaders that we are really born to be. So that's the whole conference. And then I was like, wait, but how are people going to know that this is the topic and this is the theme that we want to talk about in the conference in a few months if we don't have this discussion, if we don't open the debate and we don't start having this discussion and bring awareness on something that I think values. When I started working on my values, I was very, very surprised to see that it was something so obvious but so necessary at the same time. Like when you ask, what is your value? It's something, of course I'm this, of course I'm that, of course I believe in this. It's like, yeah, of course this is who I am. It's part of my DNA, but we don't talk about it necessarily. And so it's bringing what's obvious and starting to have this conversation. And I said, well, I don't want to have that conversation alone. I want to have that conversation with other amazing women just like yourself and another 17, I should say, because we're going to be 18 speakers, because it kept on coming and more amazing women were like, yeah, I want to be in, I have something interesting to say. And so that's what we're doing. And now the technical details. So it's happening September 10th, 11th, and 12th, which is next week. We're going to have 18 amazing women, including yourself, where each woman chose one value that one Jewish value, which is also a universal value, but we're going to look at it from the Jewish angle. And it's going to be an interesting interview on, this is the value that I chose. This is how I integrate this value in my life, in my business. This is how, integrating this value is going to make you not only a better person, but it's going to give you all the potential and everything that you need to align yourself with your business and your life. And so during 3 days from 4 to 7 p.m. Israel time, everyone will have to translate in their own time because this is truly a global summit. We have people registering from all over the world. So hopefully, and that's why we did it at 4 p.m. So everyone from the East Coast, the West Coast, like everyone should be able to participate. But don't worry, because even if you don't have time for the live and you register, you will get the recordings after. So the idea is come, be part of that conversation. When you join the live, you can also give comments, ask questions, interact with the speaker. I'm so excited. I feel so honored. I'm so grateful to have those amazing conversations. And it's just, I love it. I think that this is the conversation that we need to have in order to bring a new type of leadership, in order to really be not only, we said, like women, mothers, wives, business leaders, business owners, great. But we also have a responsibility to the world. We have a responsibility to Israel because that's the land of the Jewish people, but also to the rest of the world, to all the Jewish women around the world that need also that connection and that bridge with that source where we are from. So it's just, for me, it's a revolution. It's just like, wow. That's what I have to say about the summit.
I love it. I love it. And, I always say that, when we talk about redemption and the women being the force, the force behind it, it's like women, they don't lead, like men lead as a leader. There's one leader, everyone follow me, and women, they fly together. There's this like collective energy of fly high, and it takes you with it. All you have to do is just come along. You don't actually have to be a leader. You don't have to think of yourself as anything. You just show up and you already feel elated. Like it just takes you up with it because of the collective energy. And I think that's why it's so powerful to do a summit as opposed to like just a one person show, because you have that energy, you have that collective, which is really powerful.
And I'll tell you more than that. When we started talking about the conference, I was by myself for 2.5 years, leading this network, saying, okay, it started during COVID. People wanted to connect. Okay, let's have a Zoom once a month. And I just didn't know, by the way, it was free. It's still free for the whole time, because I was like, okay, you were talking about channeling before and intuition. I had this intuition that this has to stay free. This is for the women, the Jewish women of the world. If this is my mission, and it was one Zoom a month. So yes, it did take some work on my team and myself to promote it, but I was like, okay, I'm doing it. Let's see. And then 2.5 years later, I was like, my God, I can't lead all this by myself. This is too much. And so I started opening a board of advisor. Called people. We had 10 people on the call. I had to say no to people. People were like, do I have to pay to be on the board of advisor? I'm like, no, it's okay. You're just here and you help us with, being okay, great. Those women now are all, and we have one man, by the way, in our board of advisor. and they're all working for free. Everyone is volunteering. Everyone's like, yeah, I want to be part of this. And then we said, okay, let's do a survey. Let's do some feedback and get focus groups. So what do women want from this network? We did that. I think we had close to 100 women in all the focus groups, and Melissa, who's with me on the board, helped me greatly with that. And then we just launched, and we said, okay, who wants to be an ambassador? We need people. Like, we don't have money for ads. We can promote this. Like, yeah, I mean, I can work 24 hours 7, but I'm going to burn out, so that's not an idea. And we have today more than 50 ambassadors that are here. I want to help, I want to promote, I want to do this. And so you talk about collective, and I just said, listen, it's either I start making you pay guys, which is not an idea, because we want this to be open to everyone, or everyone rolls up their sleeves and we get it done together. And now the beautiful thing is that we are opening a nonprofit, and so that everyone is going to be part of this nonprofit. Because for me, this mission is much bigger than a one person mission. It's a huge, for me, it's a mission that if every Jewish woman around the world needs to be connected to their Jewish identity, be connected to their potential Jewish leadership, learn how to be a Jewish leader in their community, wherever they're from, and be connected to the source, which I consider is, here in Israel, where we are, then that is a huge mission that only a group of women can accomplish. And so the collective is so here, and I feel like people are just responding and just saying, yes, I'm in, yes, I want to be here, yes, I want to do it. And it's happening because of the collective. So yes, it's truly amazing.
Thank God. This is so fun. I'm so excited. Okay. How do people sign up for the summit? And it's happening next week. So get ready.
Yes. So I will share a link, and I'm sure you will share the link too, because you're a speaker and we want many people to come to every interview. The interviews we have 18 interviews in 3 days. So we're going to make them short, sweet and short, because we wanted them to be very concise and give a lot of value in a short amount of time. What you do is you register to the whole summit, right? You register to the 3 days, and then you get a list of speakers with, what is the value of each speaker and who gets to speak on what. And then if you didn't catch the speaker, for example, Rebbetzin Bat-Chen Grossman, you didn't get her to, you didn't catch her live, then you will get the recording, but only if you register, because those interviews will be live in our Facebook group. So everyone can join, everyone can listen. But if you want to get the recording, we need your email. So you need to register so we can send you the recording. And I think it's just going to be a lot of great, amazing energy. That's what it's going to be. It's just, when women get together and speak about Jewish values, what else do you need? Like, I know, I did that for myself, I have to say. Like, I just did that because I want to have all those conversations with those speakers. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's make it live. Let's have everyone enjoy it. That's the deal.
And sneak peek, my value is practical, is how to take everything you're learning and make it practical. So I'm not telling you anymore. You have to show up in order to get it.
I will say, Bat-Chen, that I was so pleasantly surprised with your value, because exactly what you said before. Because you said, I'm all about intuition, I'm all about the flow, and I'm all about being in my feminine energy. And then when you come with a value like practicality, I love it, because it's exactly the right balance that we were talking about before. It's about, yes, I'm in the flow, but I'm always going to be grounded. And I can't wait for that. We're not having the conversation now, but I'm just saying that when I saw the value, because a lot of values were, connected to God and things that I love also, but yes, we need all that, but we also need the practicality. So I can't wait to have that discussion with you, especially. And that I think that everyone should come and listen, for sure.
Thank you. Oh, I'm excited. Okay. Thank you so much for Nathalie. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And we will be back next week with the next podcast. I cannot wait to hear, to have this discussion live next week about my practical topic and value. And make sure you sign up to the summit. And I can't wait to see you there.
Me too. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bat-Chen. It was amazing to speak to you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Don't forget to stay connected for real. I'll see you.